Alrighty, and welcome once again. Today, in this program, we're going to talk about the real deal in Bitcoin. What's going on? Well, if you've been watching my programs for some time, you would realize that I had already said that these things would happen. Now, this is not the big one, if you know what I mean by the big one. The big one is still has to happen, and today I'm going to show you why it needs to happen. And everyone can debate with me on this and whatnot, but listen, up to now, everything I've talked about in terms of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has come out. I don't do much talking. I'm not one of your top YouTubers or top Bitcoin propagators out there. I do have business programs based on crypto and software that helps people gain and earn crypto. It's not a mining thing. It's a more traditional type of making crypto, but or earning it. So simply, so I am in the field. But I do make certain times, I do make certain projections, and up to now they've been spot on. So like again, it's the same thing like in ministry. I'm not known as a prophet. I don't go around telling, oh, God has said this and this is going to happen. No, I don't do that. But I have on occasion, and it's been spot on. So I just, what could you call me, a cautious prophet? Just simply that when I do say something, it's because it's a lot of energy behind it, and it's pretty much going to, at least I know that when I get that feeling and I get those juices flowing and all of that, something's going to happen. And it's usually what I'm thinking. So if you've seen my previous videos on when I'm discussing Bitcoin, by the way, on YouTube, I'm Global My CDH Network. Although some of these future crypto programs, and really this one should have gone onto another channel that I have, Crypto for Dummies, but I'm going to save that for some specialized dumbing down crypto programming. But anyway, this is just a general global My CBH network type of thing. And right now, I mean, let's first look at what people have been saying. The bigger YouTubers, the guys that get tens of thousands of views every time they load up a video. Incredible. What they were doing yesterday, because I monitor, they were all, looking at the Bitcoin going down again slowly, and they were all saying, well, I can't see, they were at least admitting, because see, the thing is, they have to at least say, well, it may not happen this way. By the way, before I go on, nothing I'm saying is financial advice. I'm just making commentary. You guys have to make up your own decisions, and you put your money wherever you think you want to. And simply, if you want to put your money anywhere outside of you fabricating something and selling it, you're taking a risk. So that's it. You're kissing it goodbye. So kiss it goodbye, and maybe it'll come back to you on every wave. You don't know. So that's the risk you're taking. But absolutely, whatever I'm saying, I'm just teaching as I always do. What you see yesterday was that all these guys were basically saying, "Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to go up. I'm pretty sure it's going to go up, and this and that." So basically, I understand when you're bullish on a coin you're invested in, then you're going to be bullish. Sometimes you guys have to be careful when somebody is doing something. Usually in other fields of interests or of gaining a perspective, you usually don't want to have someone who's really so invested in something, especially that's speculative. And the reason is that their perspective is always leaning toward, let's make people get excited about this coin, excited about that coin, because I'm invested and I'm excited. So I'm going to look at things the way I'm seeing it, and so I'm going to be seeing it positive. And for the same token, you don't want to go to someone who's bearish, who has a higher investment in something else, or totally invested in another coin as opposed to the coin that you're interested in. So you're going to hear the reasons not to invest in your coin. And basically in this program we're talking about Bitcoin. So you don't want to, go and listen to people who are have alternate altcoins in their portfolio, or they're major investors in an altcoin as opposed to Bitcoin. Because all you're going to hear is, why are you guys in Bitcoin? You should be investing in this. This is the one that's showing promise, and this and that, blah blah blah. So, but you also listen. You need to hear some objective viewpoints. Sometimes you need to stand back and look at what's going on, because I know the majority of people, but judging by the comments I see on either video, leaning bearish or bullish videos, I'm noticing that most of the people commenting are really what we will call like naive. You are the choir. Let's be nice. We won't call you guys naive. We just call you the choir boys. You guys are in the choir. So hey, listen, you the guy is singing the praises of Bitcoin. You're going, oh hallelujah, hallelujah. You guys are just playing that on, yeah. This has got to go up tomorrow. You guys are really into the bullishness of a thing, and also into the bearishness of other things, that maybe other coins that you're not too fond of. But then at least you gotta. And basically, you guys, it's coin wars, isn't it? And I'm going to just pick two coins. These are two coins, in a way they are going head to head, and not in price valuation, but in terms of ideal, okay, or ideology. And that those two things are Bitcoin, obviously we take as number one, and then XRP, to take another, just to take another. There's others, but just I feel that the Bitcoin and XRP communities are like Xbox and PS4 was back in the day when we had the console wars. As if that was ever over. But I think it's that type of love hate relationship we're seeing in the out there in the media, out there in social media and whatnot. So, but you have to realize something, that Bitcoin, first of all, you have to understand Bitcoin is totally speculative, total speculation. What does that mean? It means that there's nothing supporting the present price of Bitcoin, which at this time is 7,632. There's nothing supporting it. When it went up to 14, there was nothing supporting it. When it went up to a momentary, what was it, 1917, something like that, there was nothing supporting it. Simply, it was hype, speculation. Okay, so that's what you had in Bitcoin, and that's all you will have until something great happens with blockchain technology, and that will then really just blow this thing up, blow Bitcoin's prices or valuation into orbit. That is always a possibility. I think personally, I think it's an eventual possibility. But what's going on now is, and I think that the time that looking at the way people are, you guys really are, not you guys, but the world is entertained in stupidity and other things, in the politics and just the way they run their lives and just day to day. I think the human race is still childish to really get this blockchain off the ground where it could be and where it can lead the people, the human race as a whole. I think because of there's so much childishness, blockchain is on the slow path to really its fullest potential, to realizing even significant potential. We're not going to see that for possibly for a few generations, if quite possibly. Unfortunately, I'm being grave right here. I hope that the next generation, not the ones that are playing games today, but the next one maybe, that one will really make the blockchain and realize it, fill it out to where it needs to be, which has nothing to do with money directly, but it has to do with technology and advancement of science and technology and advancing the human race to where it's supposed to be. I believe that the blockchain is a significant element in our accomplishment of that, as opposed to XRP, for example, because XRP has a very definite purpose, and because of that definite purpose, its scope is limiting. Not that it is limited, but that they are limiting it within a certain box. And then what that causes is for XRP just to be developed within that box. And there's a lot of development, a lot of things can be had, but it's going to be always stigmatized in the box. It's like an actor, right? Clint Eastwood, well, at a time he was really just, cowboys, cowboys and Indians. So he was able to successfully get out of that, but the gun never left him really. And so anytime we're thinking about Clint Eastwood, you think about the gunslinger one way or another. He got the gun, and you better watch out. Okay, so but sometimes we get into a box and it's hard for us to break out of that. Actors face that; they try to avoid it, but people tend to box you in, anyways. Like labeling, we tend to look at something, just label it, and just put it into a box. And you see that with the privacy coin, you see that with the utility coins and stuff like that. We're already labeling and boxing in, and everybody's trying to carve out their own little niche. And that's okay. I mean, for starting out, it's okay. But that's why Bitcoin is superior. It's a superior coin in concept because it is actually just open. It is open for development. The blockchain, the technology behind it, not the money, not the valuation, not the speculation, simply the technology, allowing the technology to evolve, but it's not being overly weighted by specific usage. I don't think I know there's cases for specific usage. I have not been overwhelmingly directed to one or another of its usages. I've not been impacted by any messaging, in fact. When it comes to Bitcoin, all I hear about is the pricing, and I'm sure most of you are the same. We don't hear about its uses, application. In the early days of Bitcoin, we heard a lot about adoption and about using it to buy and to sell and this and things like that. But of late, that has been pretty much abandoned in terms of the social media and social interaction, the social exchange of ideas and information about Bitcoin, we've really not seen much about that type of end use scenario. Basically, I think people are pretty much, if they like it or not, they're pretty much relegated to the fact that Bitcoin is simply a coin of speculation, which isn't bad. It's not bad. It's just that you need to know that. You need to understand that. And I think that if people need to understand what that means in order for Bitcoin to progress. Now I'm going to get into why that is, and why this is not really even a big drop. Everybody's having a heart attack here. It's 7,000. I've already said that this Bitcoin can drop significantly. Okay, I want to say it. Sorry, but that's the fact. Bitcoin can really hit rock bottom. Now, I'm not saying that to scare people, okay? I'm not trying to establish a bear market because of what I'm saying. The market is what it's going to be. The market is happening, and that prognosis has a very high chance of occurring because of the nature of the market. Now, I'm going to explain what the market is. When you're talking about speculation, now you're dealing with my area. Okay, my area is psychotherapy. I understand the way people think and what makes them do this and what makes them avoid the other. So I understand that part of this speculative reality of Bitcoin. I also understand business. I understand money, having it, not having it, budgeting, things of that nature. So between those two areas, you begin to notice that what's happening in Bitcoin, you have the same reality you have outside in the real world. You have rich people and entities, and you have people and entities on a budget. Okay, so to put it plain and simple. So you have people who are early adopters. There were people who adopted early into Bitcoin. I know people who got gifted Bitcoin. They got a few. How much of it? We had a guy who had 8 as a gift, a wedding gift, I think it was. There's people who were gifted 100 at the time. And sure, a handful of you got 1,000 or more Bitcoins when it was, people were so really, what is that? They didn't know anything about it. The early adopters got in. They brought up Bitcoin when it was, worth a few pennies, if anything. And these guys now are having so much Bitcoin. Really doesn't matter that they're above. When you so much Bitcoin, this thing doesn't matter. They're above the fray. Some are referred to as whales if they're still in the market, if they're gaining finances day to day or week to week, month to month from Bitcoin. They want it to go up and down, up and down, up and down. This is where you get really the mainstay of manipulation in the Bitcoin market. It's simply fueled by these holders who are simply making a few $100,000 in every one of these little swings, because even though it's like a slight swing, when you have so much Bitcoin, it pays the month's bills, and that's all they're interested in. They don't lose anything really. So that's really what's going on with that. The hyping videos. Why do the big YouTubers who are bullish on Bitcoin, why do they create these more positive than realistic videos because they are being more bullish. They err on the side of being bullish. They do not err going bearish. You will not see them go bearish because they just goes against their mindset. Okay, they want to see Bitcoin go up, but I think they're doing all of you a disservice. Of course, they are providing a service. They're providing a service to people who only want to hear bullish. You guys are like the churchgoer. You only want to hear about heaven. You guys are good. You're following the instructions. Amen. So when Jesus comes, you're going to be saved. So these are the people who are listening to these bullish guys because you want it to be bullish. You're invested in Bitcoin. You want to hear the bullish stuff, and all that. It's just putting you to sleep because you really aren't doing what you need to be doing with Bitcoin so that you can really, if what's the point of being bullish if you're not making the money as soon as possible? This is what I question. I have a program to make you a millionaire before when Bitcoin hits up 50,000. Most of you don't even have a Bitcoin. You guys are holding on just and hoping that Bitcoin goes up, and you're wasting time because in the interim you could have been securing yourself the fantastic $1,000,000 day, the millionaire day, without even Bitcoin reaching $1,000,000. All it has to do is hit 50,000. The day it hits 50, the people who follow my program, they're millionaires. You don't have to wait for Bitcoin to become $1,000,000 because that's going to be another problem, and we'll deal with that on another broadcast. But right now, you have to realize you guys are very close to becoming millionaires. Very close. And I'm talking about people who don't even have a Bitcoin. But you will not be millionaires if you're just sitting around without a Bitcoin and you're just waiting to see if it goes up. It's ridiculous. You really need to be doing some other things to make sure that when Bitcoin hits 50,000, you are a millionaire. All right? And you'll still be in Bitcoin. That's without selling everything up. You will be a millionaire. You will have Bitcoin still, so that when the coin reaches your $1,000,000 mark again, so you'll be making millions all along the way that it goes up. Anyway, but this show today is not to go into that program at all, actually, but it's just to show that when that people today, even if you're not in Bitcoin right now, the issue is this. Look at what's happened right now. Even when it's low, this what you call low is 7,600. The only people dealing with Bitcoin right now, when people hear Bitcoin, see what is this? It's called Bitcoin. Bitcoin. So how much is Bitcoin? See, this is what's happening. Look at what's happening. It's 7,632 right now. It was 8,000 before. It was 9,000 when? 2 months ago or whatever. So this is what people are hearing. And so immediately, because you know how people are, right? They're not smart, right? They're more simpler. So when they hear $8,000, $7,000 for one Bitcoin, they're thinking this. So for one Bitcoin, that's costing me $8,000, $7,000. What would they think immediately? That this is not for me. All these folks that could be involved, because you understand, they could get involved still, but they're not getting it because they're being frightened away by the coin. All of these people are what Bitcoin needs in order to begin to break more further, because most of what you're waiting for. Most of these YouTubers are only hyping who? The choir. So the question is that I have for you, you guys are the choir. How high are you willing to pay for Bitcoin? And most of y'all are not going to pay more for Bitcoin because you already have your Bitcoin for whatever you paid for it. You're understand this. Who is going to buy Bitcoin at 50,000? Who? If all of you guys went into Bitcoin now, not now, now you guys are new additions to Bitcoin right now. But before, when Bitcoin was 2,000, 3,000, okay, it was 500 at one time, right? When it was down there, you guys got in. People got into it then, right? Are you really going to now buy more Bitcoin at 19 and 20,000? Think about it, because you are thinking that Bitcoin is going to go. You have to think, who is going to buy it? Who? Because the people who aren't in Bitcoin already, you think they're going to buy it at 20,000? Who do you think is going to buy it at 20,000? Who is going to buy it at 50,000? Institutions? Really? You think the institutions are that dim-witted to get into a speculative coin at 20,000, 30,000 a coin? Are you really that numb? What Bitcoin needs to do, I'll tell you what it needs to do. Bitcoin needs to crash. Send out the news. It's going to crash. Bitcoin needs to crash. Okay? I'm not saying it's going to. It should. And I expect it to go down, way down. Enough that the news will say it's a crash. Okay? And for many of you holders of Bitcoin to say the market crashed. It's just a crashing market. It needs to do that. So I'm giving you the warning right now. Let me tell you something. Bitcoin must crash. It has to. Because when it does, that is when everybody and their uncle is going to come in. And I say that's obviously figurative. But those who are waiting, there are institutions, there are massive amounts of people who, when Bitcoin comes down to their neighborhood, they are going to jump in without another moment to look. And once that happens, you will have a significant body of users or holders of Bitcoin. And then the fueling of speculation, you will have enough to catapult it even higher. Because right now, you don't have enough. Right now, the choir knows the songs. Right now, everything is almost standing still. It goes up and down, because right now the whales control most of it. But if it goes down significantly, then many, many people will get into it from all over the world, more so than now. And that opens up a whole new parameter for Bitcoin. Still be waiting for it, the blockchain, to be to flourish as a technology and to really bring it up where it needs to be. But it will have enough of the speculative energy and with the people enough invested into it, that will catapult it to a significant amount. Again, no, the way it is right now, how will it go to 1 million? You got to figure it will never hit 1 million unless discoveries, new inventions, new technologies are created, invented upon the blockchain, and using that as the catalyst. Uh, it, there's no reason for it to go any higher, but there is good reason for it to reach 50,000 in my estimation, at least 50,000 in the next 12, and not even 12, actually next 24 months minimum. It can hit the 50,000 if it crashes. If it doesn't crash, it's going to stay going up and down. It can even go up to the 20,000. It could possibly get there, but people be pushing it. You know what's going on now with this is that people are getting tired. You hear the comments. They're getting tired of it going up and up and I'm never really going pushing. If it goes up to 20 again, there's nothing holding it up. This is my point. There's not enough people underneath to really prop it up, and you can only get the amount of people you need to have that massive energy, so that when it goes up, for it to keep going up relatively. But you have to have, it has to make major advancements in adoption. It has to make major advancements in new money coming in, and it's not going to be institutions while the price is still this high. This price is not allowing. It takes time, folks. You got to understand that it takes time for people to start getting into crypto. Now you see there's some great adoption, like XRP is having great adoption. But again, why? Because it is finally focused and targeted to a particular segment of the economy, of the marketplace. So it's carved out a niche for itself, and it is getting widely accepted and whatnot. It's still not a speculative medium as far as I'm concerned, but still it's getting more and more applied use, utilization within viable markets. Bitcoin is still yet to do that. I mean, we're just talking about people investing in it. We're talking about institutions coming in. For what reason? For speculation. That's the funny thing about it. Because with Bitcoin, what institutions are you waiting to get into Bitcoin? Those who want to speculate? Is that what they're doing with a bank without money? Really? Yeah, Bitcoin is yet not at the stage of being like real estate, where a bank will put money into real estate. It's risking money, but it's really safe. Real estate is like very safe, okay, as opposed to Bitcoin, because what is it in itself? It is speculation. That's it. So you have to understand what it is that Bitcoin is in order to deal with it appropriately. It's not something to stay away from. It's something to use intelligently and to leverage. And that's what everyone should really be doing, is leveraging and preparing. Um, and be ready, because yeah, it's going to hit the rock bottom. You need to be ready. So you need to, I'm advising everyone, if you're not ready to purchase Bitcoin, you need to make yourself ready. I'm not telling you to buy any. Basically, if you're not in Bitcoin yet, my advice is to stay away from it until it crashes, but be ready for it when it does. So the moment you see it crash, monitor and be aware of where the prices are. When that thing starts going down and starts hitting, you need to be ready to come in and get your whatever piece of Bitcoin you can get. There's way you need to be leveraging your income right now so that you can have more income, so that you can put it into at least some Bitcoin and be in, because that is really maybe your real last opportunity realistically to own a coin. Now, you can get into Bitcoin with $1. You can buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. It's not much, but you got in. You have $1 worth. I mean, so people don't understand they can get $1 worth of Bitcoin. It's not a whole Bitcoin. It's a drop in the bucket, but you can put it in there. Again, then that's the reason why people are not going to do that, because basically you can do more in the real world with your money. Even the money you would invest in Bitcoin, you can do more with it outside than in the Bitcoin market. Realistically, within the next few years, putting money into Bitcoin is not smart. Now, if it crashes, then it is super smart, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice, but when it crashes, it would be super smart to get in. Why is that? Because everybody's going to be doing it. Number one, you know that. Number two is that the price has already demonstrated, where Bitcoin has already demonstrated where speculation will take it and can take it. It's already demonstrated that it can get near the 20,000 mark. It's already done that. So it can go there again. Somebody out there, somebody brought Bitcoin at $18,000. Now, if there's someone who brought Bitcoin at $18,000 before, there's still somebody who'll buy it again at 18,000, particularly if everyone got into the market. So many people got in and have purchased, and the economy of Bitcoin is more flourishable because it's more people, and platforms start seeing more Bitcoin purchases, and in terms of their products and services, et cetera, et cetera. And then Bitcoin becomes more of what it wanted to be, and what people wanted it to be, or still want it to be, maybe from the beginning. And so then you will have a very different Bitcoin experience, and quite possibly enough of a catalyst to bring it up to the 50,000 mark in about 2 years or so. Um, and that's a good thing. Again, uh, what's always causing Bitcoin to collapse like this is that people want to make their quick money. So they want to get their money out, what they invest in and all that. So it hits 9,000. Like the next time it goes up to 9, people will be selling. And this selling again of their store is what will bring down the price again. You see, you're like your own worst enemy in this process. In the program that we have developed, we don't crash the market. You become a millionaire without crashing the darn market. And so this is the better way of doing Bitcoin. It's the way that I'm teaching people to do. It saves Bitcoin. It saves the market. It doesn't destroy the market, and you get richer faster than anyone else who's is holding on to Bitcoin, or even doing your day trades and making trying to make extra money, making more Bitcoin by trading and selling. Um, so again, my project is much more amenable to helping Bitcoin to go higher than what most traditional Bitcoin holders or traders are doing at present. So you guys are just complaining, really. When the market goes down like this, you guys are complaining of the stuff you do. This is the stuff you do. This is the stuff you promote. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's you're in traffic, and the entrance of traffic from the local streets and the exit have come up, and what you do is that you go on that lane, that entering lane, just to get ahead of however number of cars that are still in traffic that are ahead of you, and only for you to come back in. And what are you doing? You're causing the same bottle jam that you're complaining about. That's the human. That's the human for you. You are the cause of your own misery. You are the cause of your own misery. So again, this issue with the Bitcoin and the speculation, this is what you've done. So again, you have to think smart, and our program helps you to do things a little smarter than that. And our program is perfect. Again, I'm not selling anything here. I'm just mentioning the fact that where my thinking's coming from is from an actual working model where anyone, even if you don't have any Bitcoin, if you join with our program, you will be ready right now. You just have to get started right now. You will be ready by the time Bitcoin hits that $50,000 mark after 2 years, whichever one. No, the latter of the two. 2 years minimum, and after that, anytime it goes into 50,000, you will be a millionaire using the program. Even if you don't have nothing, you have no Bitcoin right now. And imagine if you have Bitcoin, even better. So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying that if you don't have a plan right now, that if Bitcoin went up to $50,000 and would make you a millionaire, if you don't have that set up right now, then you're really wasting your time, because it's a beautiful time to get yourself positioned in a manner that will reach that amount. And you can't figure that out, then my program is just perfect for you. If you're not invested in Bitcoin, you can either reach me and get started in our program and begin your process of being ready when it hits. Okay, being ready and being what do you call it, qualified to become a millionaire at the time that think about that, everyone else in Bitcoin, unless they have what unless they have 20 Bitcoins and sell their position, they will still not be millionaires, even if they have today 20 Bitcoins. Because in other words, that if it goes up to 50, those are the only ones that will be millionaires. But they can only be millionaires if they sell everything they have. So you need 20 Bitcoins in that scenario to be a millionaire, right? Again, most of the people in Bitcoin, most of y'all do not have 20 Bitcoin. You wish, but you don't have that. And again, the mass population of the world is not even in Bitcoin at all. So that's the difference here. My people, when it hits 50,000, they will be millionaires, and they will still be with Bitcoin. So they're not out of it. They're just millionaires, and they have their Bitcoin. So that is the big difference here. So that is very important. So again, this is what's made possible now. And even better, and this is without Bitcoin crashing, mind you, in terms of the person participating with our program. Bitcoin doesn't have to crash for this to be a reality for you. I'm just saying that if Bitcoin crashes, or rather when it does, that would be fantastic, fabuloso. Absolutely, it's the best thing that can happen, and really everyone should get in. And obviously, everyone should get into my program, because my program will make sure that when it hits 50, you are a millionaire when that happens. Okay, so anyhow, now XRP, as the opposing coin, XRP is really just a medium of transfer. It's funny how the XRP YouTubers, so much hype, and I'm thinking they're hyping it out of qualification. I think you guys are hyping XRP to a point where people see that there is no reason for XRP to increase in price. What's the reason? Because you're showing so much evidence of it being a cable, a TV cable. You remember cable TV? Remember back in the day? Yeah. The cable, it was thought that that people owning the cable will become millionaires because everyone needs the cable to watch TV. So people actually believe that the cable would be worth a lot of money. And I think there were investments in copper made or whatever else, something else, or cable companies that made the cable itself, and owning the cable. This is going to be worth, and this is the problem with that is that it never happened because simply just the medium of transfer does not make something worth a lot of money. It just doesn't make it worth a lot of money. So it's just funny when XRP obviously is like that cable. It's a way to transfer, have, like they say, instant liquidity. So what? How does that make that coin worth? I mean, 7,632 like Bitcoin right now. How does that make a coin worth that much? Oh, because there's instant liquidity. There's instant liquidity right now. And it's right now XRP is at 24 cents. Let's look at the screen here. XRP is at 24 cents. You see that here? No, you're looking at that lady over there in that ad. Well, look at this. XRP is at 24 cents right now. I'm sorry, you guys are not seeing me there. What happened? No, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, XRP is at 24 cents right now. And right now, today, XRP has instant liquidity. It has it right now. It's already instant liquidation of funds from point A to point B. And the price of it is just 24 cents. So where is it that as much and much more that people say that XRP is now connected with that country and this country and that bank and more transactions are now able to happen around the world? What, to coin the Clinton famous phrase, what difference does it make? It does not add a single hair to the XRP. So basically, what I'm saying is that none of the guys that I've been monitoring have proven a case for XRP to rise in valuation based on its utility. It can do whatever it does worth 24 cents. Matter of fact, it can go lower, all the way down to the lowest Satoshi possible, the most infinitesimal amount of value in the trader's market, and still do what it was supposed to do. You need a whole lot more of XRP, and maybe that has something to do with it. But it can do what it does now. It's just a medium. It's a cable wire. Now the cable company is good. I mean, if you want to invest in the company, that's called Ripple. The coin is XRP. The company is the one with the technology and the business behind it. So that only makes Ripple look good as a company. The stocks, you should be trading the stock. You should be investing in the stock. Again, not financial advice, just commenting on the things that are. But to think that the coin itself, I've never heard none of these guys make any evidentiary discovery or declaration that justifies XRP. It doesn't. And I don't think they're getting it. They're not getting that, first of all, the speculative coin is Bitcoin. That's the only coin that has a right to be speculation, and that the marketplace agrees with what I'm saying. The marketplace obviously agrees because Bitcoin is the number one coin that everyone talks about, and it is, when you do the listing of cryptocurrencies, it is the highest priced. So the market agrees with me that the speculation, the king of speculation, is Bitcoin. That cannot be argued. Why XRP is trying to compete with Bitcoin? Like Bitcoin has its own problems because there's not enough people into Bitcoin yet. And what are you guys doing? You really think that you're going to get a significant, massive momentum when Bitcoin is simply sliding, slipping, is trying to gain traction, it gains some of that, and it slips? You really think that you're going to do any better? Because some of these guys, actually, they're so bullish that they're suggesting that XRP can surpass Bitcoin. Based on what? Based on what? Because none of the stuff you guys are saying, there's a lot of information. You guys would be great for false religions. Because really, yeah, you have a lot of talk, a lot of information, but it has no substance. And only people who are, whoa, yeah, they have that application. They got 20 banks, now there's 200. Now it's 1,000 banks are using the cable. What the hell does that mean? They used telephone wires just a while back. Did they make the telephone wire valuable? No. Because if particularly because of the utility of the coin, it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. So they do these constant videos over and over. I watch them. I'm giving them a fair chance. I'm not going to name them because, hey, listen, they're serving their audience, and their audience wants to hear the best possible news. You guys are just like voodoo doctors, or what? What can I say? Nuns. You put on the cream. It'll be all right. We'll pray for you. You know where XRP is going to go? It's going to go to the moon. Don't worry. Look at all this. This is okay. This is all right. Don't worry. They. What can be done? They're doing a service to the world. They're keeping people from going crazy, I'm pretty sure. So I congratulate them. Hey, listen, the more better you're able to soothe the pain, for keeping people, happy in their beliefs. Coming from a religious background myself, I see how people do that. They want that. They want religion. They want faith. They want to believe in something. So I can appreciate what y'all are doing. But simply, if you look at things the way they are, they provide, no, not that there isn't. I still haven't discovered before, because for the life of me, None of these other guys are saying anything that makes any sense to me that would give it value, real value. I'm not talking about speculative. They're trying hard to make it a speculative value, but what's happening is their points. They're talking about the utility, but once you talk about the utility, it doesn't merit the value you want it to have. So it's almost like counterproductive. That's what's happening with XRP. All these guys are counterproductive to it. Now, let me look at putting my thinking. How would they make it more intuitively beneficial for speculation? And let's see, because what you really need to do, it's already poisoned. If you don't, if you understand what I'm saying, it's poisoned because the community itself has people who own Bitcoin. So why are they owning Bitcoin, for example? So, if you're thinking about either or, I mean, that was the word I heard this the other day. One of them mentioned they have some holding in Bitcoin. So right there, you just messed it up, man. And because what you need to be developing is the same thing. See, when people were doing Bitcoin, there was no other thing. They can only do Bitcoin because Bitcoin was it. Now the other coin, you always are in the shadow of daddy. That's it. It's just simple. This is a simple thing. You're always in the shadow of daddy, and that's that. Okay. So how do you overcome that? The XRP. The only way to overcome that is if XRP itself gains intrinsic value, and I don't see where the model, the business model, the coin usage model that they have formed, how the coin gains intrinsic value, it doesn't. It's only depending on the hope. And really, I don't think the guys who own Ripple, let's say, are waiting for on the hope again, because if they are, based on what? Again, unless they think also, they believe. You guys should send this over to Ripple so I can watch this. Unless they also believe that just because they have mass adoption in the financial realm. See that? See what happens there? Oh, mass adoption. What does that mean? How does that make that coin worth anything else? In the shadow of Bitcoin. Do you understand? You want people to be as speculative, if not more so, on XRP than Bitcoin. This is not going to happen. Not the way you guys are going about it. That's not happening because there's no reason for it to happen. Oh my goodness. It's just, people, what's running Bitcoin is not even utility. People aren't thinking about that with Bitcoin. They're thinking making money. They're thinking about the big payday. Not that they're doing it right, but it's the thinking. And so that's what's making Bitcoin run. Now, what you got in XRP or in any other, you got the really low coins. And the funny thing is this, actually, XRP is actually doing the right thing in the sense that it's low, it's cheap, it's 24 cents. 24 cents. So it's doing the right thing because at this point, people who can't afford XRP, people who can't afford to get into Bitcoin, you can actually own a full Ripple coin, an XRP coin. a full coin. See, now with XRP, you can own a coin. And actually, it costs this much. What is that? There you go. See, this is a quarter, right? It actually costs you this much now. I got two cameras here, if you didn't notice. This much now to own a complete XRP coin. You cannot possibly own a Bitcoin coin, but you can own an XRP coin. So at this point, if you're going to deal with people's sentiment about getting into a cryptocurrency and owning something that is at a coin level, because see, that's part of the psychology that is now missing in Bitcoin for the masses. The masses cannot hope to purchase a Bitcoin, okay? But the masses can get an XRP. And in fact, the XRP at this rate, with this amount of money, actually makes more sense. It does. Because you have a whole coin at 25 cents, okay? And then on top of that, the coin itself already went up to $4 in the past. So you at least know that the coin can return to a high of $4. And if all of the hype has any validity at all, any weight at all, then it should at least get this boy up to $4 in a couple of years. At least. So if you wanted to get a return of your money that made sense, and you wanted to own the coin because the coin has that psychological comfort of being a whole unit instead of satoshis, which are the Bitcoin is made of satoshis, which is essentially like pennies on the US dollar. Then it makes sense for you to do XRP or something similar. But again, of all the other coins, I really don't see anything like XRP in terms of its robustness in applicative saliency in the marketplace. XRP is really doing a job in its market niche. So I don't see any reasons, nothing lacking in XRP going up to at least, it should go up to $4. It should have enough of a valuation, at least, that people can say, well, it may not go up to $1 million, but this coin is really well used. It's well utilized, and it really has a strong usage in the financial markets. And you never know. I think now what happens is that the XRP community may want to focus on its third generation applications, right? Not just that it's getting connected with all these banks and one. I think you guys know about the third and fourth generation usage or adoption issues, but I think you're making too much of a strong case for in its adoption progress. I think it's more a comfort for yourself, but you're not doing the coin any favors. You're not doing the price any favors when you do that. Understand that. I know it's comforting in your minds to focus on another bank and another contract deal. I know that's important in your mentality, but you have to understand that where XRP will rise in speculative value is not commensurate with your comfort zone. Really isn't. You really need to start focusing on the third, fourth generation adoption. Okay, that's where you need to really educate folks. People come across the videos on YouTube and whatnot. They need to see, XRP. It has its establishment. It's being well established now, and these are the possibilities. See, and these possibilities can't be fantastical. It has to be based on reasoned projections based on historical behaviors of the marketplace. And see, the marketplace develops like this and like that and like that. And so now, when once XRP, in other words, the case has to be made, and probably someone's made it already, but it's not propagated the way it should. The case has to be made that once it goes and it's propagated throughout the world financially, then these are the other things that will happen, and that will create value. How does it create value? How does it create value in the minds of people? When you see that it actually does accrue value for the users, for XRP in itself. Does it rise in value? Does XRP become such an asset? How much does it become an asset? And that's really what you need to be establishing. How much of it becomes more of an asset as time goes by, beyond the establishment of it as a coin that everyone is using or that the financial markets are using. That's really what needs to happen. At this point, even the tie-in that XRP could possibly become the world currency is really, and it doesn't mean anything if XRP becomes a world currency. So how much of it does it? How much of it is the currency? It can come out as a penny because see, you're not establishing the value. What is the currency of an XRP? What would it be? Don't assume that if the world adopts XRP as the world coinage, as the currency, don't make the assumption that XRP will be anything more than a penny. See? So that's why you got to be careful. You have to really establish good reasoning as to why XRP should do anything more than what it has done. I don't think you guys are making the case for the $4 even. I've not heard it, because if it was, why isn't it back to the $4? It already did it. It did it once. It reached $4. Today, XRP is more adopted and more spread out, and more partnerships and banking, the financial markets, etc., etc. It's more than it was when it went up to $4. Yet the price right now is 24 cents. It was higher a week ago or so. Again, that's the problem. That's the problem that XRPers and their YouTube promoters are having, or they don't understand. Simply not reasoning well. Okay, so the case point to be made, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make a video on why people should invest in XRP or any of that. I have my own I'm doing my own thing. I make my own money. Money is something that I make on my own. I'm not depending on a coin to go up in value or anything. Listen, I can take that money and make some more money, and I rather enjoy trying to make money and failing than to put money into something, just to sit and watch it grow moss. That's not me. Even if the moss is something good, it's just not my style. But in any case, that's what allows me though to look at things the way they are instead of being bullish or bearish. I'm not either or. I'm just truthful. I see the things for what they are, and I can see the value, intrinsic value in any given thing. I don't know. Bitcoin's the only one that is speculative, and really, and because of that, personally, since I don't need Bitcoin to grow wealthy, I'm don't need to get any more Bitcoin or get more vested into Bitcoin unless it crashes, which I totally think it will. And then I will go in more into getting Bitcoin at that time. But this time, there's nothing, there's no, most people are investing in Bitcoin and eventually will get out of it in your lifetime, because I don't think any of you will see $1 million day in your lifetime because of the reasons that I presented. But I think with that money that you spend and you'll just let freezing there growing old, you could have done a lot more with it and be more wealthier sooner than later. I know that for a fact because that's what I do. And so again, but speculation is what it is. And I hope that in some way, in something that I have said with you today, shared with you, it can help some of you put the right perspective on your cryptocurrency um, environment. And if it's something that you want to get into and how you're going to get into. Simply, basically, if you had like $500, I would tell you to look into my business offers rather than putting it into Bitcoin, because at least in my business offers, you have a great chance of making money month to month to month. As a matter of fact, I know in fact that if you follow my instructions, you will be making money immediately, month to month to month. And you can buy Bitcoin with that. But taking the 500 and freeze, if you worked on one of my business licenses, you put in $500 and I show you a way to start making another $500 on top, back, and more every month. Now you take that $500 that you're getting back and you put it into Bitcoin, it's more than if you would just put your $500 in Bitcoin. Don't you see? When you put it into Bitcoin, it's dead. It dies there. Bitcoin goes up and down, but it's just you have to leave it there. It doesn't do anything for you. But if you put your $500 into one of my business licenses, then every month you're getting, at least for just one of the introductory methods of gaining a return on your investment, just one of them brings you in $500. And then the second one brings you in $2,500. But we're not going to go there. Just with the $500, isn't it better to be able to invest $500 every month into Bitcoin than just $500? You think about that. Think about that. Now with 2,500, if you develop it with the second method, starting quickly with my business licenses, with $2,500 and 3 months right now, you can have a full Bitcoin. See, that's the difference. If you put 500 into Bitcoin, you'll never have the full Bitcoin. If you put the 500 into one of my business licenses, if you act quickly enough, there's only one per city, so you got to act fast. You'll be making 500 minimum 500, and you can put that into Bitcoin every month. You do the second method, that gives you another 2,500. That's $3,000 in 2 months and a half. You have a full Bitcoin. And you keep doing that. That means every year you're looking at 6 Bitcoin every year minimum. Using our minimum method, using the other method, and then adding to that the other method. They can both be running at the same time. That's adding another another Bitcoin every 3 months, another three. So obviously, it's a better program for you. You make so much more Bitcoin, actual Bitcoin, in a shorter amount of time. And by the time it hits the 50,000, you had to realize that, especially when it crashes. But when it goes up to the 50,000, you should have at least 10 to 30 Bitcoins under your belt using the system that I'm proposing to you, and being smart in how you're putting it into Bitcoin and whatnot. And that is absolutely wonderful. That means that when it hits $50,000 and you got 20 to 30 Bitcoin under your belt, you're a millionaire. You're a millionaire, and you don't have to liquidate everything, because again, you're always making money. You don't have a need to be liquidating your Bitcoin. You got to remember that, because again, what happened? You have a business, and that business is producing for you. So you got to understand that. That's the key ingredient. So it's much better for you to invest in business than it is in Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin is frozen. It's dead. But in business, it's moving and making more money, which in reality, or applying it to Bitcoin, is more Bitcoin. But the Bitcoin will never do that for you unless it goes up in price substantially. So that's a waiting game. And by the time, as you wait, um, you only go up to a Bitcoin, and that's only 50,000, while our members are millionaires. So again, it's like saying, all right, anyway, so that's it for that. XRPers need to up their game to see some changes. Um, Again, I've said it before in other videos. Bitcoin is rising little bit by little. It's going up. Hopefully, it'll keep doing that for your guys, so you guys can feel better. But I'm expecting it to drop substantially sometime in the future. A crash will happen, and that's the time to buy up the Bitcoin, folks. It's time to get in. And really, the time is now for you to position yourself. So don't stay out. Don't be just waiting for that. Position yourself to start gaining Bitcoin and get ready for the crash, and have that cash in hand for you to vacuum that up. Because a lot of what's going to happen, a lot of people holding now, they're going to lose faith for a while. They're going to sell. They're going to sell to save, because that's the other trap they've made for themselves. In order to save their $3,000 investment, they're going to sell around $6,000. They're going to a lot of people selling to at least have that profit from their $3,000, and so forth. As it goes down, that's what's happening. So again, and then they're going to wait to come in later, but you're not. That has to do nothing with you. All you want to do is vacuum up all the Bitcoin when it's down low. Okay, and so that's what you got to do and get ready for. All right, take care, and until the next program, thanks for watching.